Hello, and welcome to the show. This week's movie is Anonymous. This week I saw the movie Anonymous. It's a fictional movie that tells us that William Shakespeare's works were more of a collaborative effort than anything else. The movie takes place during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, which is a very interesting time in history. Her father was Henry VIII, who we all know was a womanizing bastard. This movie's more about Queen Elizabeth and the Earl of Oxford than it is William Shakespeare. The movie would lead you to believe that the Earl of Oxford is actually the man responsible for the works of William Shakespeare, and that Shakespeare was a front so that this high-up political figure, the Earl of Oxford, could have his ideas expressed to the public. One of the most interesting things about the movie is that they portray William Shakespeare as a functioning illiterate. He can read, but he can't write. That was really interesting because I've never, seen that take before. I've heard stories that, it's a possibility. Most of the people in Shakespeare's life were illiterate. His parents were illiterate. All of his children were illiterate. So it's just kind of odd that this man would create all these works. Now that said, there are a lot of historical inaccuracies in this movie, and that makes it really hard to follow at times. The script could definitely use some work on this movie. They took stories throughout history and kind of added to them so that they could thicken the plot a bit. One thing they try to shove down your throat through the movie is that the Virgin Queen was actually not so much of a virgin. It's probably true that Queen Elizabeth was not a virgin, but they kind of lost me with the Elizabeth I having a child with her own child. That was a bit odd. I don't think that happened, but that's the miracle of the 1500s. They didn't keep the best records. It's all up to interpretation. You can choose to believe everything that you see in the movie, or you can kind of take a more realistic approach and chalk it up to a pretty decent work of fiction, but definitely not the greatest movie ever made. You should definitely wait until this one comes out on video.